Alrighty. Hello, everyone. Welcome in, you guys. Everyone who's here, you're at the halfway point of Virtual Information Exchange 2026, so kudos to you. This is session number 8. Now, I know this session is dedicated to Bulk Mailer SMB. We are going to be doing a demo, so not sure based on our own research, it didn't seem like we had that many customers sign up for virtual who are Bulk Mailer users, but we're happy to have you here. Looks, we're up to 25 now, guys. I told you we were going to have some people in here. Very informative. I've got my wonderful friends Bill and Mary here. I'll have them introduce themselves in one moment. Before we get into it, I just want to let everybody know that you are muted and your cameras are off for the duration of the session. For everyone else who's with us, if you have questions throughout the event, please use the chat and the Q&A. We'll be monitoring those, especially once we get into the demo session. If there are some specific things that you are challenged with regard to bulk mailer, please put those in here. We've got some really technical people here. I think Bill said that he's been using bulk mailer since 2004. Did I get that right?
That's
Since
correct.
2004. So quite a while. So if you are a bulk mailer user and you have some very specific questions, he's here and ready to answer them for you. So before we get into a kickoff poll, just to kind of orient the group today, I will have Bill and Mary introduce themselves in that order. Bill, take it away. Tell us about yourself.
Hi, I'm Bill Cole, and yes, I've worked in the industry and worked with the software since, hard to admit, 2004. I think it was June 2004. And I started off as technical support, and then I was the lead technical support engineer, and then I was the product release manager, and then I became the product manager, bulk mailer and architect, BCC architect, and yeah, that's pretty much where I am. That's been working with our company and the company that predated it, which was Quadient, and then before that, Satori Software, for many years. And I'm looking forward to having a dialogue with you folks about what sort of things that interest you. I'll do a demo, but it will be a loose demo. I mean, we have some of this resources available online and recorded for like a more extensive demo, but I'll try to dive as deeply as I can into things that I think may interest you, and I'm flexible to go any direction that you want to go. So,
Mary, take it away.
Excellent. Hi, everybody. My name is Mary Kraus, and I am one of the pre-sales engineers here at BCC. I am a proud 17-year veteran of the company, and like Bill, I began my career in our support department through, technicians 1 and a level 2, and now I'm part of the professional services team. And my role as a pre-sales engineer is to make sure that you have the right software solution for your needs, the right one for your budget, as well as your current workflow. So that's my job, is to make sure that we sell you the right software. And I'm happy to be with you today. So, and hi, Claudia.
Yep, we got Claudia on our attendee list, and I know you recently worked with her very closely with Mail Manager, correct?
That's correct.
Wonderful. Okay, so thank you, Bill. Thank you, Mary. Thank you for taking the time with us today and taking the time to go through this product with us. Bulk Mailer, for those of you who don't know, Bulk Mailer is a presort platform, but it does quite a few things. And we're going to walk through that in a demo. And there's going to be a little sneak peek at the end about the future of Bulk Mailer and what we're doing with a few different infrastructure-related stuff with regard to our products and cloud. So just to kind of tease that Easter egg out there. But before we get into the thick of it, I want to do a brief poll just to gauge how much people are familiar with Bulk Mailer SMB in general and whether or not they're active users. So I'm going to launch this poll. You know the drill. If you've been with us, please answer the questions that appear in the poll. It is a two-part poll, so please click the arrow in the bottom right corner. If you do not see the poll, I will also put the questions into the chat. Question number 1, do you currently use Bulk Mailer SMB to run any pre-sort? And if you use a different product, please let us know what you use. And then how do you feel if you do use bulk mailer, how much do you feel you utilize it? A lot of our customers who are bulk mailer users don't realize the full potential of the program that they are subscribing to. And so we like to get an idea of exactly what people are, where people are at. So let's see some poll results here. Got 9 responses, evenly distributed across the spectrum there. So we've got oh, it's changing a little bit. We got 30% of people said that they're bulk mailer users, 30% that they use different products. Claudia said she's used bulk mailer previously, currently using Mail Manager. I know Mary, you just recently worked with her very closely on that.
Yep.
And then utilizing Bulk Mailer SMB, pre-sort reporting, list management, EDM workflows. So people are using it. People are using it to their best ability. Maximization, not so much, but we'll get into that a little bit. Sorry you can't open that poll, Claudia. That's why I'm putting the questions in chat. We appreciate you using chat. All right, I'm going to pass it over to Bill, who's going to take us into our agenda for today.
Yeah, so we're going to basically go through a walkthrough, but in a loose way, like I mentioned before. We want to try to talk about the various bullet points there, but I think the main thing is that what is the purpose of bulk mailer SMB, which is what is its limit? It has some limitations compared to some of the other versions of bulk mailer. The other versions of bulk mailer professional, bulk mailer business, but it also provides some advantages, which is in cost, but also in flexibility. There are some add-ons that are included. There are some things that are advantageous to people that do NCOA processing or move update processing. You get a break on the credits for that. And there are some capabilities that maybe people aren't aware of. It's a pretty robust program, and it has a lot of things, value added, that I don't think people really know about. So I want to talk about that. And yeah, punching above your weight is basically, what will you be surprised? I hope you will be surprised that it works in such a way that it's a good ROI on your investment as far as its cost. And it's meant to allow you to do most of your mailing in the product, and it gives you the flexibility of figuring out what it is that's missing. Are there things that you need to upgrade to a different product at some point? But for the most part, I think you can get most of your mailing tasks done. And you can, in most cases, if you're a mail service provider or if you're doing direct mail yourself, I think you'll find that it gets you 90% of the way on most people that aren't complete power users. So. And the other thing, of course, is, so I think one of the false choices, the middle bullet point there is just talking about everybody assumes that they have to trade affordability for full compliance with USPS. I think you can be fully compliant with the USPS regulations by using bulk mailer. It's intended to make sure that you qualify for postal discounts and that you provide the things such as full service, your IMBs, your labels, your container labels, your qualification reports, all the required reports, and that you pre-sort the mail in such a way that you get the best possible discount, whether it's an EDDM mailing or whether it's a carrier out mailing. All of the things, some of the more advanced pre-sorts you can do with bulk mailer SMB. And I think the biggest thing about bulk mailer is it's intended to be a simple and powerful tool that you don't have to spend days or weeks trying to learn. And if somebody leaves, you'll find that the learning curve is a lot faster than some of the other programs in the market. Even some of our own programs are a little bit more complicated, and there is a learning curve. But I think with bulk mailer SMB, it's intended to be allow you to do all your mailing steps, but also do so in such a way that it's intuitive and simple to learn.
Yeah, a lot of mailers that I've learned over the past few years that sometimes they feel stuck between being, cutting quarters or being compliant, or if they're, if they cut the corners on postal rules, or they find that the platforms that they need to use are way too expensive or require expertise that they just don't have in their shops. And that's an impossible choice. I mean, you shouldn't have to choose between, doing it right and going broke. So, what's cool about
Absolutely.
Bulk Mailer is that, it's made for mailers like that. It's built to be simple to use. It has a strong ROI, and it's already CASS and PAVE certified. And best of all, it's not terribly expensive. It's affordable. So that's my best part about Bulk Mailer.
Yeah, and you can scale up too with some of the services like the data services.
Mhm.
You get the same data services that are available in our other products as far as additional services that you may need. There's tracking, IMB tracing, whatever you want to call it, through the TNT system. So you can interact with that if that's something that you want to do. So so it lets you scale up to some of the additional services that are available in other more enterprise level products.
Yeah, and it's a complete solution and not just a light version of other software. I mean, it can complete your mailing. You don't have to worry about that either.
Yeah, definitely.
Can
It's got
you,
all the bells and whistles. Yeah, go ahead.
before we get into the demo, can you talk about customer scenarios in which they might need to move beyond bulk mailer, or a scenario where it might push a customer if they're growing? Is it volume related? Is it speed related? What are some of the parameters that would push a customer to pursue a more robust product? I know there's certain scenarios where mail manager users even need to think about reaching the upper limits of a mail manager full service. So there's different scenarios depending on the what your situation is, that would require you to move up to a different tier of product. So from bulk mailer's perspective, what would be some of those? What would be some of those considerations?
Yeah, there are some limitations as far as it's the same limitation that exists in Bulk Mailer Professional, because the backend database can only be about 2 gigabytes in size. So that means generally between less than 500,000 records. So there's no built-in limit to the program in the sense that if you have a really large list and you're trying to process it through NCOA or CASS processing or pre-sorting, it's not going to stop you. You can import as many records as you want, but there is an overall file size that can be reached, which is generally, like I said, conservatively 250,000 records. I think we have on our customer portal, we recommend something like 250,000. So that's one thing. If you have huge files that need to be processed, you may want to use a different product. The other thing is that some of the advanced pre-sorting. So we limit the ability to do mixed weights, for instance, mixed weights manifesting. So if you had non-identical weight and thickness, you're going to have to use a different product. It's not available in Bulk Mailer SMB. The other thing is some of the advanced pre-sorting like bound printed matter, or parcel select. Well, it used to be parcel. Well, actually, that's not even available on Bulk Mailer, but there's in any version. So there are some pre-sorting that options and settings or different types of sorts that are really limited to, you're going to have to upgrade to Mail Manager or another enterprise product. Let's see, the other thing is that we limit a couple of things like palletization. We limit it, and we only provide bulk mail.xml as the way to upload your list to Postal One. We don't provide mail.dat. Well, as a product owner, I'm trying to change that to make it so that we can do that. I'm trying to get people to buy off on that, so I didn't like that decision. But so that's the eDocs component. There's various things like that that you might need to upgrade if you find that you need it.
Cool. So Bill, I know we're at a point where we want to show off, we want to jump into the demo a little bit. Can you share your screen and kick us off?
Absolutely. This is where everything goes blue screen. This is the Bill Gates moment.
Make it full screen for us.
There you go. How's that?
Fabulous.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So far, so good. Okay, so like I said, there's an hour and a half version of this demo walkthrough that's available that has a link you can get from the customer portal or you can get from our technical support. So I don't want to spend an hour and a half going through the program, but I just want to kind of cover the things that are maybe of interest to people. And if you have questions, you throw it in the chat. Brandon, you're going to have to tell me if questions come in because I can't see it right now for some reason.
I will let you know.
Okay. So the key thing about the simplicity of Bulk Mailer is the idea is that you have a navigation bar on the left-hand side, and it's supposed to be the steps that you need to conduct in order to do a mailing. So it's supposed to keep you on track. You don't have to jump around in the screens, and generally you don't. And you have wizards that are step-based, although they can be converted. I'll show you what I mean by that in a minute. The first step is always the home section where you're going to create a mailing or you can open an existing mailing. So right now I only have the demo list in here because this is the way it's Bulk Mailer SMB starts. But the first step is usually to open an existing mail or create a new one. I also want to mention a couple of things in the tools menu. There is an add-on manager that shows you what add-ons you have. Like I said, there are some. We try to make SMB include a lot of things, like it includes geocoding, RDI, it includes firm bundles and palletization, but you can't add track and trace. And the address correction is usually included with your subscription. So this is where you add serial numbers to you add products to your installation. And let's see what else. The other, I guess I don't want to go into more detail about you have menus up here that you can select various things and options, and you can get help. You can check, there's a live update feature, so you don't have to download the software. If you check for live update, when we publish a live update, it will automatically update your software instead of the process where you have to go to the customer portal and download it. So that's a nice feature. So let me show you the wizard. It's just basically there are two steps here. You can either create a blank mailing or we have the option to create an EDDM, every door direct mailing. It's, people use that for when they're mailing saturation to a complete zip code or a set of carrier routes. And it's pretty intuitive. You can go in here and you can say for 98003, I want it mail everybody in these routes. These are the routes that the carriers walk. I can come in here and I can say, oh, I just want to do all of those. Or you can do just the business, so that you can do all of them, which is business residential, or you can mail to just residential only. And when you do that, by default, it just puts the date and the time for the name of the file, but you can also name the file however you want, and you can create a folder. I'll just call this EDDM mailings. And then when you have a folder, you select it, and it's nice and organized so that it will be listed separated from your other mailings. So what this did is without importing data from another file or database, it created a list of 21,000 records, which is basically every deliverable address. It's every door direct mail. So it's everybody within that particular zip code, both business and residential. Now, one of the things when you do is it doesn't actually have an address. It knows statistically how many records are in those carrier routes. So it created 21,000 records. So one of the things it tells you right off the bat is that you can go straight to mail sort because you don't have to run address correction or move update processing when you don't have an address, when you're just mailing to current resident, for instance. So in this case, I would just jump right to mail sort, and then I would run my mail sort. So it's pretty straightforward as far as an EDDM mailing. I just wanted to demonstrate how that works. And if there are any questions, let me know. But
there is a question regarding EDDM regarding route counts. How often do bulk mailers EDDM route counts update? This is from Christina Pierre.
It updates monthly with the address correction data that we get from the post office. So it's usually it's updated around the 8th of every month. And so as soon as we provide that live update, we update bulk mailer monthly. So as soon as you get that live update notification when you open the program, we'll get the latest data for you. But it can lag up to like 3 weeks because it's a monthly data file update. Okay, so I'm going to create a file. I click that. Okay, so in this case, I'm just going to create a blank mailing, and I'm just going to call this the demo mailing for today. So when I create that, one of the things that's important for you to realize is that there's a data details box down here, which is intended to keep you on the right track. It lets you know what your current count of records is, what your group and your total count is. That is basically just a way to let us know, because it can be different. You can select a sub list, and the group is it tells you important information too. So I recommend keeping an eye on that data details box. So importing data into Bulk Mailer is a wizard-based thing. What you do is, the first thing is you just have to select the file that you're importing from, and we support importing from various files, including database files, DBase files, Excel files, text files, which is the most common, whether they be fixed length or common to limited. So I've got various lists here, and I'm gonna pick that one. And first page is, it just shows you how the format of the import works. And the idea here is you can kind of see if it's working correctly with the right delimiter in the case of a text file, because it will show everything broken out into columns. And there's a field qualifier that's a double quote, which will limit the field size. You can basically the main thing that you want to do in this wizard is just get to this page. Now you want to import all the data that's necessary for address correction, move update, including the name information, if you have name information. And bring that in so that it can be utilized. But if it's not important for your mailing and you don't need to print it on your mail piece, you can skip it. But we also have user fields that are available for additional fields. We're limited to 15 user text fields, 2 user number fields, 2 date fields, and 3 phone fields. But you can, most of the time, I guess that would be another reason why you would want to use a different product, maybe upgrade to a different product, is if you needed to bring in other non-standard information beyond 15 user fields, then that is a limitation you have to keep in mind with Bulk Mailer SMB. So you just click which field. So you just pick, you kind of can preview the data and say, okay, well, in this case, I don't have field names. If you have field names like the column headers, Bulk Mailer will automatically guess the field name, the field mapping for you, which is kind of a nice feature. But if your data doesn't have field names, then you have to do some detective work. You have to figure out, okay, what is this field and where does it go? So that's a last name field. This is a business name, so I just map that to business, and then I bring in the address line. I only have one address line, but you can have more than that. Bring in the city, the state, which is Puerto Rico, and the zip code. So after I do that, then I just hit import and import. So I can save the field mapping for future use. That would be in a scenario where you're just like, you need to import data again and again that has the same field mapping. And once you name a template, then it's available for future use. So I brought in the data. Most of the time, people are going to want to look at the data. Maybe they want to analyze it, figure out maybe make changes, edit it. That's where views come in. So views is like a grid view there's a list view and a detail view where you can look at the addresses that imported, and you can sort them or you can search for a particular record based on address or whatever you might want to do. You can delete individual records, etc. You can also run individual address correction on an address. What that does is it will validate the address and return a zip +4 for the address if it's working, which it's not. I don't know why not.
Bill, there was a question asked.
Sure.
Can something like Bulk Mailer be used to test a list for non-production presorts if needed? Can you run tests through this if you wanted to?
Run tests for non-production. Yeah, you could. Like
to see what data details would kick back.
Sure. Like as far as the address correction and the move update processing, you mean?
Yes.
Okay. Absolutely. Yeah, you can do that for that purpose, certainly. And it's much more user-friendly, so it's easier to probably do it through this than through an automated process. So I can see reasons for doing that, sure. So views, you have basically, you have like we see, like an Excel view. And you can create your own view and have just the columns you want, or you can look at the full record view where there's a ton of data. There are a lot of fields in Bulk Mailer for various reasons. There's fields that relate to the move update, which is available in the Move Update information view. Like I said, you can create whatever view you want. And just to mention that the detail view shows one record at a time. It's kind of more familiar for mail manager customers that are used to this kind of view. There's a couple different of these datas or these views that are data detail views. Sorry, I forgot what I was saying. So the detail views are kind of like a card view. So that's views. Address quality is kind of the meat of the program, and that's the part where we get the big bucks because we do this, we do the services that the post office requires for us to certify your requires for us to qualify your list for postal discounts. There's a one-page wizard in most of these things. If you right-click it, it will show everything on one page. You have the option of clicking next, 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 and the reason for the standard wizard is some people find it easier and it's easier to keep you on track, but other people just prefer to see everything on one page. So it's the same wizard, one page, or next, next, next. Well, what does the address correction wizard do? Well, it's CASS, as I hope everybody probably is familiar. It's coding accuracy support system. It's a way to use use the postal data and the postal regulations and the postal requirements to standardize your addresses according to what they suggest. Standardized means updating the address so that abbreviations are used or full for directional, street suffix, unit designator, etc. That's one step, is standardization. But there's also an engine behind this, which is the same engine that's used in Architect, BCC Architect, and actually now it's the same engine that's used in all our products. It's a fully qualified, certified CASS engine that will use its software, its code, to figure out how to match to postal data under certain circumstances. We have to provide this to the post office, and they test us and they tell us whether our engine is certified or not, and whether it provides the correct. So it's basically a test. It's a test where they give us a test list of 100,000 addresses, and we test it. We provide the results to them, and they tell us whether we did the right thing. And if we did something they didn't like, or we didn't find an address when we should have, we didn't match it, or we mismatched it, then we have to fix that. So that's part of that CASS cycle process. The settings here, I won't go into great details about that. They're available in the help. There's online help, which goes into detail about all these processing options. But essentially what it does is it runs to find the postal data, and it does the various levels of checking and requirements, such as ZIP+4 validation, where we validate to a range of addresses. It validates the DPV, which stands for delivery point validation, which is where it checks to make sure the address is deliverable according to the USPS data. It makes sure that it tells you whether you have a valid, if the primary number is confirmed, assuming the primary number is like 123 Main Street, it makes sure that 123 is valid for that street in that particular city and zip code, and it returns a ZIP+4 for that address. That's the first level. But then the next level is 123, is there someone there to receive the mail? Is there a mailbox that can receive the mail? Is it listed according to postal data as deliverable, that primary number? And then the other part is it a high-rise address or an address where there should be secondary information, such as unit information, like a business, a suite number, or an apartment number, and it will tell you whether there should be or shouldn't be, whether you have it or don't. I guess that's a weird way of saying it, but basically, if the primary number is valid, it also validates the secondary number. And in some cases, it will say you have the wrong secondary number. In some cases, it will say you're missing a secondary when you should have one. So there are tons of data fields and we also produce a CASS report, which is the official USPS report, to show that you use CASS software to validate your address and produce the barcodes, etc. The other part about this, of course, is there's tons of data that comes back. And that's why I talked about all the fields earlier. There are fields that are very specific there are some fields that are proprietary to us, such as CASS error code and CASS description. tells you exactly what we changed about the address if we needed to. I mean, if it's letter for letter, exactly an exact match to the postal data, then it usually says 0. No significant changes. It returns a zip+4, carrier out all the information the post office needs, produces the barcode so that it's validated the correct barcode for that particular address. It does all of that. But if it has to, if it doesn't automatically match, that's where it uses thousands of lines of code to look at the postal data and try to find, is it because the street is slightly misspelled? Is it missing the street suffix or the directional? It looks at the data, and if it can reliably change the address, it will change the address so that it can get the most complete, correct, and current address. And it does all of that, and it returns all of that information to you in the data so that you can analyze it and look at it. It also, go ahead.
I don't
Yeah.
mind I don't mean to pause you.
Oh.
Christina Pierre asked if there was plans to add zip+4 as a mappable field in the future.
Zip+4 as a mappable
She
field.
said we've encountered errors when trying to concatenate zip codes on purchased lists.
You can return a zip+. So are you talking about separate fields for the 5-digit versus the 4-digit?
I believe that is what she's referring to, yes. Yeah, she confirmed that.
Okay. We don't have any plans to provide separate fields for import, but there is a way that you can work around that. Because the idea is the +4 is supposed to be validated by address correction, so it will return the +4. But if you have them in separate database fields, we can concatenate them after import. It's just like a 2-step process. But basically, you import the 5-digit, you import the +4 into a user field, and then in views you can concatenate them if you want to do it that way. But at least right now, we don't have any plans for adding 2 separate fields for the barcode. I guess that's the answer. What I wanted to point out, what I missed to point out is there is the option to review addresses afterwards individually. It's an option that some people use. Obviously, if you have thousands of addresses that invalidate, you're not going to go through every one individually, but you do have that option. You just have to install your data files locally. The way I've configured this is we're using the internet. We're using our data, the data on our servers for the address correction data. That makes it so that in many cases, it's faster, but the other reason is we can make sure that we have the latest and most up-to-date data when you're using this internet-based service. That's the way Move Update works as well. So Move Update is looking for changes of address, as everybody's aware, and SuiteLink processing is another way to call it. But essentially what this is it is a real simple wizard that will match records to change of addresses for the last 48 months. This page is just where you select your client. If you're doing the mail for someone else, you have to have your mail owner selected, and you have to fill out a PAF form, processing acknowledgement form. Oh, excuse me. Talking too much. Okay. Matching logic is essentially, just, I won't go through all these settings, but you can limit your logic so that it only returns some of your change of addresses. You can limit it to 18 months or 12 months or whatever. You can review the records at the end. You can, these are some choices about formatting, same formatting option, because it does do CASS before it does NCOA, so it does all of it. So the NCOA processing does cost credits, or you have to have either a flat rate subscription or you have to have NCOA credits. Now, the good thing about Bulk Mailer SMB is it includes 5 million NCOA credits, I believe. Is that right? Keep me honest, Mary.
Yes,
Is it 5
that
million?
is correct.
Okay. So when you purchase it and you get an annual subscription, you have 5 million. It comes with 5 million of these credits. But if you have to go beyond that, you'd have to purchase those through our sales or through our customer portal. So it's really fast. It uses the internet, obviously, because it's the Move Updates data is updated weekly on our Move Update servers with new changes of addresses. So you have to connect to our server to do it. And then we get returns And they're as you would expect. People that have filled out a change of address form, it's either a business type move, family type move, or an individual type move, and it shows you the name used. And then it returns a bunch of data like NCOALink footnotes to every record that it updated. And so it's kind of nice. It includes a summary, another CASS report, because like I said, it does CASS again. Or you could skip the first time and if you want and just run it through move update and or do CASS, and it returns a processing summary report, which goes into detail about the change of addresses. Because there are cases where people have moved where we have indication that there's been a moved address, but we can't provide you the new address. So it's unable to provide new address or a new address unavailable. That happens in certain cases. Like if you close a post office box, there's no forwarding allowed. There's no forwarding address that's returned through the NCOA system. And there are other weird things, like if someone does a temporary move, it will flag it, but it won't provide the new address. So you have to look at these and you have to use these footnotes and match flags to pull those records out. Duplication search is a real simple thing where you look for duplicates in the list. I don't even think I'll go through this wizard, but it is pretty handy and pretty easy to use. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I love bulk mailers deduping.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. I won't go into great detail about it, but it's just basically you can control what's identified as a dupe based on the fields, and you have some control over does it have to be an exact match, or it will also match records that are loosely matched based on algorithms like SoundX and Metaphone, and so you can control it with this bar. And then at the very end, you get a list of people that well, it's only one group, but so Kelly McDonald is letter for letter the same. So yeah, I don't want to send Kelly 2 letters. I want to eliminate one. So there you go.
Yeah, I like the fact you can fuzzy up that logic a bit, and that does help things.
Definitely. Data services is where you can go to other services that are essentially it gives you the ability to extend beyond USPS services. So we can use a vendor to look up proprietary change of address, which is where we use third-party data to try to find if someone's moved. Like for some reason, maybe NCOA is not finding a move for you, but you have indications, like I said, where something is wrong about the addresses that's returned from NCOA, and NCOA can't provide you the new address. Then maybe ECOA could. The most popular is walk sequence, also called VSF squared, where you can return carry route information like the walk sequence number and other information specific to the address. And that qualifies your mail for carry route discounts. Phone validation, phone information. We're actually soon going to add email validation back because we took it out because it wasn't selling, but we got some interest about that. So email, you can verify emails, you can return emails in some cases, phone numbers. Suppression Suite, you can check the US do not mail list, nationally do not mail to identify records where people don't want to receive mail, or if someone's deceased. And that's about it. International, we currently only support Canada. Years ago, we supported many other countries, but currently if you have a list of Canadian addresses, then you could use data services to return information about that. So groups is where you can create sublists, and this is really helpful. Like if you wanted to see records that are not deliverable, you could use groups. And so this is where I just explain what groups are. So if you click groups, it will tell you how many records are selected by this. And do you wish to make it the active group? You'll notice the data details change. So now I just have the undeliverable records selected. And what does that mean? Well, that means for various reasons, these records are listed as non-deliverable. And the error code and error description tells you why. But there's other fields too, like we have all the USPS fields like DPV enhanced code, DPV footnote, where you can dig into it and get different snapshots or looks at why the record failed. One of those reasons why it might fail is if it's missing the secondary, like I mentioned. So it's an apartment number or a high-rise address, and you should have the secondary, but you don't. So when you don't have the secondary, if you mail it, it depends on your service. you're kind of at the mercy of the person, the mail carrier, whether they're, they may throw it in a desk on the table in the lobby, and who knows if it will really get to the person or not. So in those cases, you really, if you're sending something that's sensitive, like if you're sending it's one thing if it's marketing mail, then it's just wasted postage. It'll get thrown away. Nobody will, you just wasted whatever the price of the mail is. But if it's financial data or HIPAA violation, it could be a HIPAA violation because it's health records, then yeah, don't mail things that are listed as non-deliverable. Those cases, you want to treat those with more special care. And especially if you're doing the mail for someone else, you want to make sure that they understand. Do you want to mail records that the software says is missing a secondary? There are ways to find the secondary. Data services does cost credits. I didn't mention that, but there is a service called Apartment Append, which is available, apartment number append. So that will use third-party data to try to use the name and address to match to the apartment number and return it for you. There are other services that are available from third party, from other lists. You could use other USPS services, like you could use ACS, Address Correction Service, which is a way to get return data when an address can't be delivered because it's insufficient, undeliverable as addressed, etc. So the powerful thing about CASS software, Move Update, and SUITE processing is that it provides a wealth of information that you can use to sell it, to provide it to your customers so they know and they're fully informed that either A, you're wasting postage in the case of marketing mail, or B, you're going to lose contact with that person because the address is insufficient and you're at the mercy of whoever's delivering it. So groups, I showed you groups. When you select a group, only those records are active. So if you wanted to export those out, you can go to the import export and you can export just the 870 bad addresses, include the error code and error description, give it to your customer. Hey, these are the records where, like, here's a record where we changed the city. Okay. They're sensitive about us changing and updating the address. Well, we changed the city. We tell you we changed the city. If you don't want to trust us, don't mail it. We tell you the records that where something was wrong about the address and we couldn't match it because the primary number was invalid in this case, meaning this record is a problem because we couldn't find in the postal data 2775, we couldn't match it to the postal data. So if you mail it, for one, you can't mail it at full postal discounts, like automation discounts. Secondly, it's probably going to not get to PEMCO insurance. It may, maybe it won't, but it is questionable. So,
Bill, I want to pause you real quick because I know tomorrow you talked about a few different topics that we went into real great detail on the UAA session earlier today. So I appreciate you rehashing those. And then I know you foreshadowed what is the topic that's coming up tomorrow, which is the address update dilemma session that you are on with Kendra Van Gundy regarding the legal challenges that customers are facing in the healthcare, financial, medical related industries with sensitive information, not being able to update those addresses. So I appreciate you going through that. That it's really nice to see us circle back to that and tie that into this demo as well.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, 100%. It's a topic that I think people really need to pay attention to. It's a topic that education, and not just for you, but for if you're a mail service provider, for your clients, your customers, is very important. Full disclosure, understanding what kind of processing is happening, and then providing that data to them so that they can make intelligent decisions is our key. It's what we really want to focus on.
There was a question regarding reasons for change fields, which you just showed in that list. Are they displayed in a similar manner or available in Mail Manager Full Service as well?
Yes, they are. We added So we changed the engine that's used for CASS processing and Mail Manager Full Service recently, not too long ago, a few months ago. There are different error codes and different return codes that are available in Mail Manager, but I made sure that we added error code. It's called Architect Error Code and Architect Error Description, which exactly corresponds to these. But all of those fields are documented and available with greater description in the customer portal. And yes, Mail Manager Full Service has these same fields. So since it's using the same CASS engine, you're going to see the same results, and you can
Yeah,
utilize
you would
those.
just need, yeah, you would just need to add those additional fields onto your layouts and resave your templates.
Yeah, so architect error description and error code I think is good, but then also there's other fields that you can utilize, like DPV enhanced code, DPV valid, DPV vacant. There's a ton of fields that come back from CASS processing that can be utilized. So I just want to go through mail sort and then open it up to further discussions. We still have quite a bit to go through, but like I said, a true demo of this program would take an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Let me just mention that mail sorting is complicated, but we tried with Bulk Mailer SMB to make it more simple. We do that through a process of when you select the type of mail that you're doing, we allow you to use sort levels. And the idea of sort level is kind of similar to Mail Manager, which has mail streams. It's the same principle, but essentially you have to choose okay, am I going to try to qualify for carrier out, which is more work. In some cases, it requires a lot more trays and containers, and it requires certain density levels. That means the number of pieces you have per route. So some people, it's not worth it to do all that extra work, or they don't have that extra data like the walk sequence number, and they just want to do automation, which means everything that has a qualified address that's CASS certified and DPV validated and has a barcode, which we all provide for you, will get the best possible discount in most cases. Carrier route is going to be cheaper if you have the density. If you had an EDDM mailing, then you would do EDDM, but so we use the concept of a sort level to try to make it simple. If you can choose, like if I didn't qualify, all those pieces that didn't validate, I could choose to exclude those from my sort, which means that it won't be included on your postal paperwork. And that means that you wouldn't mail it, but you could export it to your customer later. So that's one way to limit it. Like I only want to mail stuff that's automation, or I only want to mail carrier out in automation, and I can exclude the remaining records. The dimensions here are just about making sure that you qualify for the piece type that you're selecting. Like, is it truly a flat size? But it also determines how the mail is containerized. So like, how many pieces fit into a tray, how many pieces fit into a bundle. Like I said, we don't have mixed weights in SMB, but you select the weight. You should probably weigh 10 pieces and, get the right thing. Facility lookup is kind of nice because, there's actually a locale key or facility key that's returned. If you know your facility key, you can find the right post office. This is your entry point, the post office that you're going to. And so it's important to get that information correct so that you can get the right discounts. Periodical mail, I won't go into that, but if you have periodicals, there's additional settings that you can fill out related to a periodical. There's some advanced settings, including palletization. I mentioned that palletization, it is an add-on, but it's included. Excuse me. It's included in the sense that we limited it a little bit. So it's only, unlike in other versions of our software, you can't change the minimum maximum per level. It's global, but you can do low volume and courtesy pallets. So it just depends on whether that works for you or not. If you need greater flexibility with palletization, then you would probably select a different product. Tells your mail settings are important. Like I said, we support IMB tracing as an add-on, so it's not terribly expensive. like anything in Bulk Mailer SMB. But if you do it, then you can we upload the data to our TNT website. So you can look and see where your mail is in the mail stream. You can see which facility it's stuck in, or when approximately within 24 hours will be delivered. You get full service discount. Informed delivery is supported. Barcode sequencing, that's all pretty straightforward. Plant verified drop shipping. This is kind of a nice feature where you can see where your mail is going and if it makes sense for you to do drop shipping, where you pay to go take your mail pay somebody to take your mail to another facility. Anyway, oh, it's because I'm on 8. Usually the default is 50. Analyze. I don't really have much volume of any facility in this list, but I guess maybe I would go to Salt Lake SCF. And if I did that, then it would produce separate paperwork that you give the truck driver, and you set up an appointment, and they go to the SCF in Salt Lake, and they drop it at a certain time. They give them the paperwork. Well, it's usually electronic nowadays, and you get an additional discount because you're paying to have it shipped to Salt Lake. Promotions incentive, we support all the promotions that are important based on the mailing date that you select, which promotion is currently in effect. Promotions and incentives like the volume growth and the informed delivery. It gets pretty complicated, but you can obviously save a lot of money doing promotions. Blah blah blah. I guess that's pretty much it. Container labels, you get it. These are labels that go on the containers.
So
go ahead.
Yeah, so Mary, there was a couple questions regarding to adjusting their mail manager. There was some questions regarding mail manager, specifically about the error descriptions, adding those error descriptions to their views within mail manager. I don't know if you can elaborate on that, but they were both Tom and Claudia were both interested in adding that to a view because they liked the way Bulk Mailer SMB had that very clearly laid out here.
Absolutely. If you go into under maintenance and modify record layout, 2 new fields were added, and they are under the Z4 part of the additional fields under RCAS error code and RCAS error code description. So just drag and drop those onto your layout and then resave your template, and you will have it forever.
And that might be a good topic to talk about separately, Mary, and maybe do a webinar or something about mail manager layouts or customizing the mail manager experience, because that might be a really interesting topic.
I'm also looking to see if they've already written a KB, because sometimes they're ahead of me. So
yes, it's true. I don't know if Tom or Claudia have been in the portal yet. I don't think Claudia has been in the portal for sure regarding the topic. Bill, this was very enlightening. I appreciate it. Do you have anything further?
Yeah, just to wrap up, I just want to
through?
say that, let me just, I just want to take 30 seconds. So print mail is printing mail pieces. Submit is where you can connect to Postal One using mail.xml. And track is where you can either get a one-page tracking or you can use the TNT service where you connect to the TNT website. Trackmaster Basic is where you can put all of these steps into one. So if you do the same steps over and over again, it's kind of like an automation. You can set them all up, and then next time you don't have to remember your steps. They're all saved for you. You click go, and it literally does everything because it's the same. It's the same steps every time. You can make some slight adjustments if you have to import, but it's a really good way to keep people on track when they want some automation, some basic automation. So that's all I have to say for my demo.
Thank you. I want to note too, as with all of our products, we have an incredible support team. For those of you who are here with us and have not engaged with our support team, which is highly doubtful, we have an incredible support team. We've always been known to have an incredible support team. We also have an incredible professional services team as well, which Mary noted earlier. She is on. So if there are, we did a whole session earlier this morning about maximizing the utilization of your existing software. And so if there are instances in which you are unsure about how to do that, whether it's bulk mailer SMB, mail manager, etc., please please reach out to us. We'd love to have a consultation call with you guys and find out exactly what scenario it is you're troubleshooting, because it's something that either support can handle and help you with, or professional service can if it's a little bit more robust. Bill, I know we went through.
Yeah, do you want to do that?
SMB.
Do you want to
Sorry?
do the thing where we do the glimpse or preview or secret?
Yeah, so for those of you who are with us, and for those of you who use bulk mailer or even interested in bulk mailer to some degree, we are working on cloud framework, cloud infrastructure. We talked about that yesterday morning at our 11 o'clock product roadmap session, and it's very exciting. There'll be more on this from a marketing and sales communications that you'll hear about coming into the latter half of this year into Q1 of 2027. That's when our alignment roadmap with this cloud framework is going to start coming to fruition, coming to shape. But we wanted to share a little bit with you guys what that user experience might look like, because it is going to be something that you see with more cloud frameworks moving forward as we release more products, more software, and more additional ad hoc services on our cloud platform between now and 2028. So Bill, can you share some of those screenshots for people? This is exclusive to just the group of you. So you guys are getting a sneak peek looking at what this is going to start to look like. It is very exciting. It's not for public knowledge yet, but we are introducing it to you guys so you can kind of see what that experience is going to look like working within a cloud platform.
Right. And so this is just the login screen, but the key thing to kind of keep, why would someone want, what would the advantage of using a cloud application? Well, the number one advantage is that you don't have to ever download or update your software on a local machine again, because it's all handled. We handle the updates. We make sure the data is up to date for sort data, address correction, and we can quickly add additional services in a manner that means that the program is going to be much quicker, more up to date, provide new and exciting things to people. So login screen isn't that exciting, but it's just a login where you're going to, just like any web page, you're going to log in, and then you're going to get a page where you have a dashboard where we're going to return a bunch of information about statistically about the type of mail sorting that you're doing, the type of total records that you're doing. We have the ability to provide push announcements to you, either individual announcements or user-based announcements, to let you know when we've added things or when we've introduced a new feature. So you can see that this is just the beginning of what we can do. Is like we could make it so much easier for you to know statistically how many mailings am I doing? What is my ROI? Where am I making my money? But the other thing is we want to make it still simple, like bulk mailers, user interface. And so we've created like a similar process where we have mailings listed. You could think this is very similar to the home page that I showed you a minute ago with folders and with the mail owners. But we have enhanced some things from bulk mailer. One of the things we did is we made it so that you can manage mail owners, mailer IDs, permits so much easier in this program than you can in bulk mailer or mail manager, or I think any other program in the universe as far as our industry. So we establish the same process, a workflow similar to bulk mailer, where you go steps. You can keep yourself on track by going through the steps of importing data, running address correction. This should look familiar to what I just showed you. Move update, duplication search, running data services, doing mail sort. So the idea with this cloud application is that it's going to be easy to use like bulk mailer, but it's going to be really powerful because we can make it really new as far as the update it more quickly. You don't have to have so many maintenance tasks. You don't have to treat. You get more a la carte because
Correct.
like maybe the billing and subscription levels, maybe you can make it, instead of buying one program, your billing is based on usage. So you can decide, I don't know if I'm going to sell 100,000 records this year. I don't know if I'm going to do 100,000 records in mailings. Maybe I'll only do 50,000. So maybe I start with that. And if it gets to the point where I need to add additional credits or a subscription, then you can do it and it'll be self-serving, a la carte. You can come in here and update your software without even calling sales, and you can get the ability to go beyond 50,000 or 100,000, whatever you thought that was your limit before.
And
So that's
the value to our cloud framework is that it's very much laying the groundwork for future. Think of it as sort of a future, as Bill mentioned, sandbox style as needed services. So if you were looking to purchase credits for tracking, or if you wanted to purchase credits for other kinds of DMS or data marketing services for address cleansing, you can incorporate all those things without having to subscribe to a separate product altogether. And it's more of a modular framework, all within a cloud, web-based cloud infrastructure. So we're trying to sort of take all of these components that are currently and have been for a long time siloed in their own on-prem software solutions, and taking that technology and unshackling it so that you can access it in a piecemeal way via a web browser. So it's really the future of software in general. Anybody who deals with software technology, whether it's for your taxes or for anything, payroll, even internal for employees such as ADP, or even health insurance, everything's moving to a cloud infrastructure, and it just opens it up to be able to integrate with and be a lot more flexible to serve exactly what your needs are at any given time. So very exciting future we have. We did talk about this yesterday morning during our roadmap call. And so you guys are getting kind of an early sneak peek, because Bulk Mailer will be the presort components and of Bulk Mailer will be among the first to be accessible via the cloud infrastructure coming early next year. So stay tuned for more about that.
Absolutely. Yep. Couldn't say it better. Couldn't have said it better, Brendan.
Well, thank you.
Oh, like a marketplace. People like to throw their
Like a marketplace. Exactly.
marketplace around. That's what you're talking about. Yep.
Mary, do you want to elaborate on this? I know you've been with BCC for quite a while. You've seen our technology and software evolve, especially through several acquisitions. Do you want to talk a little bit about cloud, or any thoughts you want to add?
I am so excited for cloud, just for the convenience sake of not having to do updates all the time, and making sure that your tables are updated, and make sure the CASS data is updated. Oh, just one less thing that your IT guy has to do every month. Whatever we can do to make it easier on the customers to use our software, I am all for it, and I can't wait to see what they do with this. So, oh,
And
get my hands on it.
and just for clarity, on-prem's not going away, so please be mindful of that for those Mail Manager users and Bulk Mailer users who are with us. On-prem is not going away. We know that serves a purpose. And during our presentation yesterday morning, we were emphasizing that. So I just want to clarify that and make sure everyone's aware. Bill, were there any other screens for
That's pretty much it.
this?
That's all I have right now.
All right, cool. Any questions in chat, please? Please take this time to ask any last minute questions. I want to just emphasize and say a big shout out to our gold sponsors for Information Exchange 2026 who've helped make this happen. Direct Logistics, if you are with us or just before this session, Direct Logistics was fantastic. It was great to have those guys with us and present. Solimar presented yesterday. If you missed those sessions, we will have recordings, as well as recording of this one and the transcriptions for everybody. I'll be sharing those with all attendees after virtual is concluded at the end of this week. And yeah, thank you very much for joining us. Bill, thank you. Mary, thank you very much for presenting and being a part of this. You guys are integral to the company, and we value you so much, so much. Bill, any final thoughts? Mary, any final thoughts before we break?
Not really. I hope you guys got some questions answered, and just please Take advantage of our technical support. It's the best in the industry. Take advantage of our customer portal resources. Let us know what we can do to help.
Absolutely. If there's any questions that come up later on, please reach out. Support's amazing. But Bill and I are always around. So if you need assistance, please let us know how we can help. Okay. Thank you so
100%.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Everyone have a wonderful evening, and we'll catch you tomorrow morning.
Bye, guys.
Bye.